Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Real Tank Commander. Reacts to an actual gunnery video I managed to find on YouTube. This is only 3 engagements. Now I'm going to pick them apart, and I'm going to go over what they did right and what they did wrong. As someone that's been there, done that. Now understand this video. This is a through site Big Brother video, so it does have a lot more things on there than you might realize. Okay, so we'll watch the first engagement. And then I'll make commentary on what they did right, what they did wrong.
They're both up. Designate tank. Move. Identify tank. We're in 690. Fire to gas. Eliminate. Right there. Target. Designate right tank. Identify tank. You got it? You're breaking it up. Try to gas.
Okay, so as you saw in that 50-second engagement, they're defense in Seaburns, they had the NBC system turned on, 2 tanks. Now, the mistake that the TC and gunner made right here is the gunner already had a target in his sights. He had the first target right there, and then TC designated him onto the second target. And what that does is that wastes gunnery time. And in gunnery, you only have 50 seconds for the first 2 targets and 75 seconds if it's a 3-target engagement. So technically what they did is they wasted time going to that second, with the TC designated him onto the second target. That's one. The second one, and I'm sure you guys can kind of tell, is how they're talking. They're really amped up. Eventually, I'll get a lot more of these videos because I got them somewhere on some hard drive and I just got to find the thing. But when I do find it, I'll be able to go through, more than 29 gunnery videos, and it'll be through site just like how this is. A lot better quality, of course, because this video is over 10 years old. And then also where they made the mistake was when they came up, the driver stopped, then they waited a second, then the tank commander said, fire and adjust, and then the gunner finally fired. They made that mistake on both targets. Not only that, the gunner's not really scanning. He's kind of letting the tank commander do everything, which is not what you should be doing as a gunner. A gunner should be making a turret motor and turret brake scream at you. So as you can see on the right hand, chosen 6-6, which means this is a coming to commander track. TAC 6-3, which would be main gun only, or main gun pure engagement. And you have your 2 targets, armor front for both of them. They did pretty well. I'm not going to, their death time definitely did save them. Not going to go over into how gunnery is scored just because I don't know if that's supposed to be talked about, but since this video is up, that means I can talk about it. So far, I would rate yes, they killed both targets. However, just their timing is terrible. The gunner doesn't really scan like they're supposed to. The tank commander is not really. I mean, the tank commander did a really good job for finding everything, but the gunner should be able to beat the tank commander. The other mistake that they made, it's a Seaburn engagement. So you're wearing your pro mask the whole engagement. So the gunner is pretty much shooting off his BIOC because you cannot shoot through the GPS with the pro mask. It's almost impossible. And the mistake that he made is he didn't ensure that the mic was seated on the inside of it, and the cable for the mic was seated on the outside of the pro mask. That's why he broke up. But overall, I'd say it a solid like 6.5 out of 10 on how well they did the engagement. Let's go over to engagement 2.
792, this is Chosen 6, engage, destroy 2, enemy armor in sector, over. Roger, at this time. Identify troops. Range. Realizing. Range. 240. Firing it down. All the way. All the way. Target. Target.
Okay, I'm not going to let him finish so we can see exactly what the gunner did wrong on this target. So as we can see on the top left screen, which is the gunner's view, is that he stayed on the troops, he had to relays, and then also the gun messed up, which is, come on, man. It's not hard to get the 240 dialed in on a tank. Not only that, he started at the center. The reason why I never did that, I started on one side or the other. And how I would do it was I would laze the berm, make sure I got a good range, but I would start at one side of the troops, whether it's the right side or the left side. Did not matter which one, whichever side that the reticle ended up, that's where I started from. If I ended up at the left side, I would laze the berm, I would shoot the berm, I would bring the reticle up, and I would sweep over the targets. But sweep really slowly, because on a M1A2, it has the automatic lead feature. So the more you crank the Cadillacs to the right or left, the more lead it's adding into the system. So what people have made the mistake of many times, and I've even made this mistake, was they would try to sweep the reticle over the targets really, really quickly, and all you're really doing in that is you're just throwing rounds all over the place. Because the tank's adding and taking away lead constantly left and right. So instead of the rounds impacting how you want them, they're just being thrown all over the place. I mean, he still got it in good time because it's an offensive engagement. You can see it in the top right. Task 6-1, offense day, 2 troops. In offense, you don't get deflate time, so you really got to be on the ball. All right, we'll go over the second target.
Troops. Identify troops. Range. Let go, sir. 600. Firing it down. All the way. Target.
Okay, so that one right there, the fact he had to bring the reticle up, tells me that he did not zero in the coax properly. Or he has miles indexed, which I have seen people do. Inside of the fire control system, you can tell the tank like what rounds it's shooting. When you index coax, you can either do 240, as it says in there, so 7.62 NATO, or miles, which is the laser. Most likely here he had it in miles, considering how much more he had to elevate the reticle to be able to effectively hit the targets. And also his coax zero is way off. He did not dial the thing in. How you know that thing's dialed in is the center reticle on the GPS is 1 mil. And I generally would always find a berm at about 700 meters-ish, somewhere around there, so anywhere from 650 to 750. And at 700, it should be, if you have your coax dialed in correctly, it should be shooting all in that center 1 mil circle of the GPS. This guy didn't do that. Overall, hey, he still has a good time, still killed the targets fast. Again, the gunner did not find the targets like he's supposed to. The tank commander should not be finding all the targets for him. Yes, on an M1A2, it has a hunter killer system with the CITV. I'm aware. However, I really do think the CITV makes gunners lazy, really lazy. Is a lot of gunners will just sit there and wait for the tank commander to find everything. And in my opinion, it should be a competition between the gunner and the tank commander who finds the targets first and kills them first.
Fire, driver, hold. Charlie 902, this is Chosen 6. Engage and destroy 2 sets of troops in sector, over. Troops, 12 o'clock. See the PC.
All right, so on this one we have light armor offensive task, or offensive engagement, my bad. So no deflate time. We have PC, LAR, light armor, and then troops front. So your modifiers for those, depending on the range, can affect how you should shoot it. And how they do it now in gunnery, I know way back when, I've been told by many different tankers, is they always want you to shoot near before far and frontal before flank. So a near tank target is a significantly bigger problem than a flank tank target out on the range. Doesn't mean it really, in the modern ways of them doing gunnery, all that they adjust that with the modifier. And all that a modifier really is that's how many seconds you have to kill the target to get 100 points. It's really all it is. It makes it nice and simple.
Stop, did you find the troops? I got the PC. Identify PC. Range. Profile.
Okay, and here's something else this actually should be the task 6-7 or 6-8, which is a degraded engagement. You can see on the top left screen of the gunner that when he lays, the reticle jumped, which that only happens if he's in emergency mode. So either he's degraded himself because he wasn't paying attention, which could happen, or the task was written incorrectly on the shot sheet. But he's shooting in emergency mode. So in emergency on an M1, you lose all stabilization. And it's reversed. Because in normal mode, the gun is following the sights. In emergency, the sights are pretty much locked to the gun. That's how a lot of us describe it for people to understand where we're coming at.
100. Fire and adjust. All the way. All the way. Lock.
Okay, so I've made that same. He is shooting in emergency mode because in emergency, the fine tuning, I want to say, of ensuring the reticle center mass in emergency mode is so much harder than normal. I remember when I was shooting gunnery, it was I had a PC at 1,400 meters, or actually my emergency mode engagement for table 6, so the qualification table, we had tank PC in the defense. I came up, smacked the tank. I think the tank was at 1,200, 12 or 1,600, but the tank was easy. But the PC I came up at 35, and so that means I'm out of the defilade, I'm exposed, which means I'm losing time. And it took me 13 seconds to get on target. So I killed the PC at 48 out of 50, which I think that comes down to about... I barely qualified the PC engagement, but I still qualified it. And the problem I had on that PC target, I could pick the right side of it or the left side of it. And considering how inaccurate the training ammunition is, I wanted to ensure I had a kill. So that's the mistake I made. One thing I probably should have done is get the reticle close to target, grab the manual traverse handle, moved it over a little bit, left or right, whichever I should have done, come back to the or probably didn't need to hit the Cadillacs, just hit the Master Blaster and call it a day. On the way, boom, lost.
Target. Ceasefire. Section coax. I don't see the troops. I don't see the troops either. Identify troops. Range. No, that's not right. 300. 600. Fire and adjust. All the way. Target. Target. Charlie 902, this is Chosen 6, engaged, destroyed 1 PC and 1 set of troops. Gotcha.
Okay, so the additional mistake I can tell that the gunner is making on this, I know which range they're shooting on. They're shooting on 66 out at Fort Bliss, Texas. And they're doing this during the summer, from what I think. That's my guess. Or it's either spring or fall, most likely it's either spring. Yeah, because that's generally when we shoot gunnery. It's spring of 2015, something like that, or maybe even 2016. But the mistake that the gunner made right there is shooting in the day with thermals is kind of a crapshoot at Bliss because it's so hot. The problem with thermals, and this is what games cannot ever get right, and it's just how it is with games, is in the day, if it's, I would say, over 90 degrees, you get what people call thermal washout, into where the targets will kind of just disappear into the background and you don't really see them in thermals. But if you use daylight, What are these 5 little troopies sitting out there for? It green troops, brown background. Can't miss them. And then same thing with that PC. But they took forever to find those troops. And again, the gunner wasn't really scanning. The top right screen is the CITV, and the top left is the TIS, the gunner's thermals. And they're just all over the place. Just not being very good. They still shot really well, don't get me wrong. But just, come on, guys. And probably the one sound that, if you've been up in a tower at a tank gunnery range and you only hear it in the tower, you never hear it in the tank, is when the gun fires, you just hear the chunk of the breech. It's always cool. On to the next engagement.
All right, your PC is right there, sir. Troops on the spot.
This is their simultaneous engagement, so task 6-9. In the defense, they have the light armor for the TC's 50 cal on top of the tank, and 2 sets of troops. One of the troops is for the loader, one of them is for the gunner. How I did this engagement is a lot different. I'm going to see if I can't. I have the audio of me doing it, but the audio, it just sounds cool. There's no actual visual to it. Let me know in the comments if you guys just want to hear that. I'll throw that up there, and I know you guys will probably enjoy it because it is a bit crazy. How I prefer to do this engagement is I prefer to be patient and wait. Let the loader's targets pop, TC targets pop, to where I go loader 240, 11 o'clock, 300 meters, PC caliber 50, 1 o'clock, 600 meters. The loader goes identified troops, 11 o'clock, 300 meters. So, all right, I know the loader's ready. I'm ready. Wait for the gunner's targets to pop. Gunner's targets pop up at 25. Gunner goes identified troops, 750. All right, so everyone's on. I go, driver move up, loader fire and adjust, gunner fire and adjust, TC caliber 50 on the way. So we all open up at the same time, and that got the timer up in the towers constantly hitting the button going, I hate these guys. I hate these guys. I don't know when they open. I don't know when they closed. And we see all the targets go down within 10 seconds. We'll give them 100 points. It's cheating. These guys do it the normal way, to where you have the loader and the tank commander open at the same time. Well, they should. They did not do that here. And I'm going to let the video speak for itself.
Loader troops! Loader 240 troops! 12 o'clock! 300 meters! Identified troops, 300 meters, 12 o'clock. Fire and adjust! On the way. CC, 1 o'clock! 900 meters! Target load complete. Caliber 50! Target CC. Target! CC complete! Alright, scan for the troops. Troops right there, on the road. Right. Identify troops. Range, 670. Sniper move. Yes. Fire and adjust. All the way. Target. Cease fire, drive back.
Okay, so that was pretty well done. Still, the only mistake, in my opinion, that they made was the loader opened up before the tank commander did. While they both killed their targets really quickly, the problem when you're shooting from the defilade from the loaders and the TC's machine guns is that whichever one starts firing first, it immediately stops your defilade time, which kills your score, which is why a lot of people will open up at the same time, so that way they save themselves. The company commander here really needed to practice his fire commands because he was really slow on it. Loader, 12 o'clock. Wait a second, 300 meters. The only thing the tower cares about, distance, direction, and target description. Which is why I always said, troops 11 o'clock, 300 meters. I said it the same way. Didn't matter if they're at 500, didn't matter if they're at 600, didn't matter if they're at 700. You have the Mark 1 eyeball to range. You only got to be close. It's a machine gun. That's where he made the mistake. And the gunner did find the targets, but if you listen closely, the loader talked the gunner on, which is what a good loader does. overall, I'd say these 3 engagements, they did really well. I don't know their overall score. I'm sure I could ask, I don't know, somebody what's going on with it, and they'd probably be able to give me an idea on how well they shot. And eventually, I'm going to add more of these videos on there, or onto here, so that way you guys can enjoy them. And all the videos I have of the through sight video like this are almost 10 years old now. So they don't have the crows. They have pretty much the same setup that these tanks have. Commander's open stations to the pintle mounted 50 cal for the TC. I believe either 4.4 or 4.5 software. Nothing too ridiculous. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe if you like this kind of thing. So that way I can bring a TTS back to life and see if I can go toe-to-toe with these guys. Thanks for watching.